Andrew Haug with you here on Haug Metal, and welcome my guests. I got two guests this evening who've just released their brand new record, second album. They go by the name of Holy Grail. The album is titled Ride the Void. We do have Eli Santana, the guitarist of the band, as well as James Paul Luna, the vocalist. Welcome to Haug Metal on andrewhaug.com 24/7. Holy Grail, lads.
Thanks for having us.
No worries, it's great
How's
to speak
it
to
going,
you.
Andrew?
It's going really well, and again, the new record has finally been unleashed. Ride the Void. It really is a mash of many traditional sort of metal influences. I presume that majority of the guys in the band all listen to sort of different styles of metal. I do suspect.
Absolutely. Yeah, like myself, Eli, the guitar player. I like a lot of like early '90s like death metal, like Death and Carcass and Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel, as well as like some of the shredders like Yngwie, and then Alex Lee, the other guitar player. We share a lot of same influence as far as like Paul Gilbert and like Marty Friedman and stuff. And I know Blake is like our bass player is really into like Mastodon and Thin Lizzy, and then Luna. Well,
yeah, I mean, I'm really into like a lot of the '70s hard rock and heavy blues, like early '70s, and then kind of jump up over to like classic metal, like Merciful Fate, Scorpions, Judas Priest, Dio, that kind of stuff.
I mean, there must be some sort of strong respect there, because considering all those sort of, genres thrown together, most fans sometimes are specifically into one genre and hate everything else. I mean, do you guys come together in the jam room and say, dude, I got this killer Thin Lizzy riff, and if, one of the other guys sort of says, no, I hate Thin Lizzy because they're weak and it's not brutal enough. I mean, it sounds like you guys don't have that kind of ego clash of, my metal's better than your metal. I presume it sounds like it's pretty open and respectful in the Holy Grail camp.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is we just try and keep it all just one metal umbrella. There's not like, it kind of all is, anything goes pretty much.
Yeah, like even though like I'm a big fan of like the like super heavy death metal stuff. Luna has since gotten me into a lot of like new wave of British heavy metal bands that I love, and so like I'll kind of bring in stuff from that influence, but it's kind of my own take on it, and then he takes it from there. So it's like we're all like exactly, very respectful of all kinds of metal and just fans of just metal in general, and so it kind of comes together with us just trying to be the best metal band that we can.
Now, are there just some riffs that just don't make the grade purely because some of them just sound horrendously dorky from a certain era that you just go, dude, that's not going to happen?
Definitely. That's kind of why we play the numbers game of it, and just try to write as much stuff as possible, so we don't really put all our eggs in one basket. I've got probably close to 200 like just guitar riffs and ideas that just didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
Kind of sitting there, and it's kind of like, oh, that riff's cool, and I'm sure if Bon Jovi was looking for like a wannabe tough guy riff, then they would use that. But
so I presume there could be an Eli solo album in the works.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to do that, and hopefully it's not just all the throwaway Holy Grail stuff. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's move on. Being, of course, a young and upcoming band, how do you sort of view the future of, I guess, the band's longevity in today's music biz, which is in somewhat of a, what's the word, uncertain state at the moment? I mean, exposure is very strong now on the internet for a lot of bands, but as far as people buying music is a huge, huge issue. And it tends to be sort of seen as music being devalued because someone downloads an album, doesn't like it, hit delete, and then they won't even go back to it, considering all the work that people put into making music. How do you sort of view the current sort of state today, and being a young band at that?
I mean, well, I definitely see like more and more like the major labels are tanking, and it's kind of relying more on like indie labels and kind of self-releases and stuff like that. But there's still, it's still not as grim as you might imagine, but it's not what it used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think you just we're in a weird transitionary period. Just as far as like, you know, with the internet, like there's a whole there's a million bands for one fan instead of a million fans for one band, just because there's just so much access to just all this different music and bands and everything. So it's just like you really have to love what you're doing. But I think that the cool thing about that is just we're at a spot where like it really weeds out all the musicians who are just in it for the wrong reasons other than just the music, because to like kind of spend this much time on the road and sleeping in bands and doing all that, you really have to love what you're doing, and so it's not like a financially ideal career choice, but it's just like we don't want to do anything else. So it's just like you run into all the other bands on the road that feel the same way, and so there's just great respect for the music and other musicians. So I think it's better in the long run.
Well, you certainly did make a good point about those who are in it for the real reasons and the rest eventually drop off. I mean, you look at the genres and how much the sort of cycles change in the last 4 or 5 years as bands have released great music and then realise that, hey, I can't make money from this and I'm not going to tour as much as what other bands are doing, and they eventually just disband, and then obviously another 100 crop up. But as I said, it is definitely a sort of only the strong survive. Now, I guess with the question of course, being a young band out in today's music biz, if you guys could go back to a specific year of metal, what would it be and why?
For me, it'd be like early 80s in England, just kind of being a part of the new wave of British heavy metal and the classic metal scene, like just that, like maybe like 80, 81. There's a lot of good music coming out of England at the time, and Europe just in general.
Yeah, for me, I think it would be kind of around 80, 88, 89. Just in the fact of like you had Injustice for All and Rust in Peace and just all these like great thrash albums coming out that just really like kind of just set the tone for heavy music. As far as like even just going into like the more like death metal that would follow in the next couple years, it just seemed like a really like kind of magical time for like metal and like more extreme metal.
It was. I was there.
Oh, awesome.
Metallica, 89, May 4th, one of the best gigs I've ever seen. I'll move on, I won't go on about it. Now, Soundwave 2012, you guys performed there, and again, how was it playing to a whole new audience in a whole new country? And can we see a return tour for Holy Grail on the new album, Ride the Void?
Absolutely.
That was a really amazing experience coming down to Australia. We had, most of us had never been to Australia at all, and we actually just got lucky to be on the Soundwave festival. So like it wasn't just us, touring and trying to get fans. It was like we were there with like these amazing artists and what we looked up to. And I'd love to come back. We just had such an amazing time.
The country was great. The weather was nice. The people were really nice. It was really awesome.
Well, we can get you to both say a couple of last words to Australian fans or even listeners out there of the station at andrewhaug.com about the band's music and people, wanting to check out you guys and what you have to offer. And we can both get you to fight over one track you want to hear that you agree from the record Ride the Void.
I think we want to. We'd like to play Take It to the Grave. For the Australian fans, I think it's got a lot of energy and just
fast guitars and a really nice bridge there too.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I felt drinking with Australians. I felt that that's something that everyone down under will connect with.
Well, thanks again for your time, fellas, and all the best with the band, and keep us posted on a possible return tour to Australia, and we'll check out that track right now here on andrewhaug.com. Thanks, fellas.
Thanks you,
Andrew.